Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Freeline FM. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lads and ladesses, friends and neighbours. Welcome once again to Freeline FM with me, Rabbi Israel Ben Heeman. Hey, today we're presenting the news for you, and it's a freezing cold Sunday morning, the 1st of March 2026, here in Southern Europe. And the reason I'm up so early and bringing you the news at this time of the day is because there's big breaking news. And if you haven't heard already, and you may very well have, because it's all over the news, it's an unusual thing for a Christian to celebrate the death of anyone, but the death of the enemies of God are something to celebrate. And the news all over the media today is quite simply, the Ayatollah is dead. Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran has been taken out by United States and Israeli air power, and he is now deceased. He is no longer. There are, to be honest with you, some mixed feelings which I'm finding in Iran. Not everyone is celebrating, but it looks to me, and this is only a guess, but it looks very much to me like about 95% of the population are celebrating. They're walking around carrying placards saying, "Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Israel, and thank you, United States," and waving the stars and bars of the United States national flag. And they're also wearing the blue stripe and Star of David in blue and white on the Israeli flag. And they're waving those along with their own national flags. And one particular placard with a simple message on it particularly caught my eye. It said quite simply, "Thank God, thank you, Mr. President. At last we are free." And it looks like they are, but whether or not a regime can be put in place involving the former Shah's son, which is Reza Pahlavi, who is now 65. Now, you have to remember about Mr. Pahlavi is that although he is, so to speak, the crown prince of Iran, or Persia really is the original name, he's been outside of Iran for 40 years. He hasn't been in the country for 40 years. So whether or not he could actually go back there, be inaugurated, sworn in, crowned, whatever you want to call it, as the new Shah of Iran, and bring some semblance of order to what has been a disorderly nation state for a very long time, remains to be seen. Whether or not the international community are prepared to back him to return to Iran and become the new Shah, or perhaps a president. Perhaps he'd rather do it the political route rather than the royal bloodline route. Whichever way it works out, I hope it works out by the will of the Iranian people and not by the will of some stinking dictator like the Ayatollahs have been. I remember back in 1979 I was still serving soldier at that time when Iran was overtaken by the Ayatollahs, and there was weeping and wailing pretty much across the civilized world. But slowly but surely, Iran has been more and more accepted and even bowed down to by scumbags like that toe rag that once pretended to be the President of the United States, Barack Obama, who actually bowed down to the ankles before the Ayatollahs when he met them. And of course, we know very well that Obama pandered to the Ayatollahs. He didn't just pander to them, he sent them loaded up pallets of millions and millions of dollars, giving them money, basically begging them to go ahead and create the nuclear bomb that the Ayatollahs so desperately wanted. And of course, many world leaders, including some of the bad ones like Tony Blair, have vowed all the way along since 1979, have absolutely vowed that never in a million years will they allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, because the first thing they would do with it is attack Israel. There isn't any doubt about that. It seems to go hand in hand with Ayatollahs' violence and of course Islam. Islam is evil, wicked, violent. It's no good trying to brush round it and say, oh, well, that's offensive to some people. I don't care. If the truth offends you, crawl into a hole somewhere and die. I really don't care about these woke, bleeding heart liberals who can't stand to hear the truth. The truth is that the regime of Iran under the Ayatollahs, running an extremist Muslim Islamic regime, has been a stain on humanity. And I join with so many others in saying, well done, President Trump, well done, Prime Minister Ben Netanyahu, well done for taking this scumbag out and setting open the gates to freedom that the Iranian people have been begging for such a very, very long time. I think if we give the Crown Prince, or perhaps you want to call him the Shah now, if they want to give him a chance, I think it might be at least a very good start towards a secular democracy. Although I'm not a particular fan of democracy, because democracy favours running things by the will of the majority, and the majority are not always right. I'm more in favour of a Republican point of view, that instead of protecting the majority, what you do is protect the individual, the individual rights, the individual inalienable God-given rights of every individual, as it is in the United States. Many people refer to the United States as a democracy. The United States is not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. And that is where Iran needs to go now, a constitutional republic, so that nobody can ever come along and say to a woman, you have to wear the burqa, you have to wear a hijab, you have to cover your face, you have to cover yourself up. Nobody can do that, because it's her right to choose how she dresses. Never mind what the majority says. It's her individual right to choose for herself. And that's why I favour the constitutional republic over a democracy. Just my point of view. If your point of view differs, you're entitled to your point of view. Even in a constitutional republic, you're entitled to your point of view. You're not, however, entitled to force it on other people, and that's the main point. So I hope the Iranian people will grasp this opportunity to be free once again, and to return to their secular roots, but to go down the road of constitutional republic rather than democracy. Democracy is what has allowed Keir Starmer in London to destroy the United Kingdom with. United Kingdom is now totally destroyed by Starmer and his gang. While Islam is losing Iran, it's gaining the United Kingdom and several other countries too in Europe. People are realizing way too late that Islam is not something you should welcome across your borders. Islam is something that you should fight every inch of the way. And if they won't go back on their own, then force them to go back. And if they won't be forced to go back, then war will have to ensue. And then it will have to be a case of there'll be a bloodbath. And as always, because Muslims are what they are, hating all things that are modern, although they seem to like their iPhones and things like that, which, by the way, were invented in Israel. No matter how much they hate the modern way of life, modern warfare will destroy them. And Britain is now on the brink of revolution, just as Iran is on the brink of revolution. But what they need to do in Great Britain now is they need to get rid of Starmer, the Prime Minister. He is Britain's Ayatollah. And just like the Ayatollah, the Supreme Leader Khomeini of Iran, he needs to be disposed of. He needs to be neutralized. He needs to be got rid of completely for the sake and better good of all of the people of Great Britain. And then you need a Prime Minister, somebody like Rupert Lowe, perhaps. I don't know about Nigel Farage. I'm not convinced about Nigel. I like some of the things he says. I'm just not convinced of his veracity. However, Rupert Lowe says, I'll do it, and Rupert will. He will do it. And getting rid of 2 million to 3 million Muslims from Great Britain sounds like a very good start on the road to the return of the United Kingdom's democracy, which it's always supposed to have been. Although I would have to conclude that many, many years ago, when I used to live there, I woke up on many, many mornings hanging my head in my hands and saying, my God, I've got to get out of this country. It's a dictatorship. It's absolutely streaked with Nazism. And the courts and the legal system is filthy, dirty, corrupt. Innocent people are convicted daily in that country of crimes that didn't even take place, let alone crimes they didn't commit. And it mirrors exactly the way things have been in Iran for the last 47 years. My father was English, so I have some connection to Great Britain. it's the only connection I want with it, quite frankly. I want absolutely nothing to do with that country. But one thing that I must say is why you've all been throwing Tommy Robinson in jail for the last 20 years instead of listening to him very carefully, and the warnings that he's offered you is beyond me. The British people need to wake up and embrace what Tommy has been telling you. If you don't stop Islam, you're going to be overrun with them, and you will end up being dictated to the way the Iranian people have been dictated to by a stinking Ayatollah or a series of Ayatollahs with an Islamic extremist agenda. That's what's happened to Iran, but thank God for brighter minds and cleaner hearts. It looks like their revolution, beg your pardon, the Islamic revolution is now coming to an end in Iran, and I'd love to see it come to an end in Great Britain too, and all over Europe. Islam does not belong in cultural Europe, and the bleeding heart wokeists, the liberals of Europe, they need to go with the Muslims that they let in. Send them, let them live in that. It's what they want. They're trying to turn our countries in Europe into Islamic states. If that's what they want, then let them go and stay with the Islamic State. Get all these politicians, round them up, put them on a plane and drop them on a beach in Libya or some other Islamic country, where the Islamic extremism is the norm, and let them live with it. It's what they've tried to force on everybody else, while they've been trying to destroy secularism, democracy, and constitutional republicanism for decades. They've been trying to destroy it just the way it was destroyed in Iran. It's a great strike against Islam to take Iran out of the hands of the Islamic fanatics and set it back on the road of secularism, protecting the rights of the individual, even though the Ayatollahs or whoever replaces them might say, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. That nonetheless, the individual rights of the people will be respected by the rule of law. That is what needs to take place. Now, the Revolutionary Guard in Iran, they're as much a bunch of fanatics as the Ayatollahs. They're mourning the loss of their great leader. They're actually saying, one spokesman for the Revolutionary Guard actually said, "We have lost a great leader and we are mourning him. A leader who was unique in terms of purity of spirit, strength of faith, resourcefulness in affairs, courage in the face of the arrogant, and jihad in the path of God." It's there every time. Jihad, jihad, jihad. It's all Muslims know. It's all they believe in. All they care about is killing people. That's all they care about. And that's why Islam has to be destroyed. It is an evil entity. It is the religion of Satan the devil. And they are evil people. And they follow an evil religion. And at a later stage, I'm going to do a documentary, which I'll present for you when it's finished, about Islam. And instead of just ranting and raving and being angry about it, which I usually do, I'm going to try to present this from an archaeological, scientific, historical point of view, that there is absolutely no evidence that Muhammad ever existed. There just isn't any. There isn't any evidence of him. You can find evidence of just about anybody. There is true, absolute, written down evidence. Other than the Bible, people like Josephus, for instance, who wrote down things about the life of Jesus. But nobody wrote anything about Muhammad. They only started writing about Muhammad over 200 years after he supposedly died, if he ever lived. It's a Robin Hood legend. That's all they can say, because they've got no proof whatsoever that he existed. And if you look at the Quran and then take a look at the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament as well, you'll find that so many things have been copied from the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament into the Quran. And believe it or not, the Quran that everybody's following today was actually written by a German scholar in the 19th century, and they're saying that this was written by Muhammad. Well, first of all, from what I've read about this so-called Muhammad, even if he did exist, he couldn't read and write. And it's a bunch of ideas and twisted copies of scripture which have been entirely bastardized by evil men and turned into this filthy religion of Islam, which is set on one path and one path alone. And it says right here, this is a statement by a representative of the Revolutionary Guard in Iran, who refer to the deceased Ayatollah Khomeini as showing courage in the face of the arrogant and jihad in the path of God. Jihad. Yeah. Actually, apparently jihad only means, and I'm not an expert on Arabic, although I speak some of it, very, very similar to my own language. But jihad means my struggle. It doesn't actually mean waging war endlessly, shouting Allahu Akbar and killing people, stabbing them with knives, running over them with trucks, and walking around the place like they own it, and starting fights and trouble. And the thing about Islam is it seeks only one thing, and it's exactly what the Nazis have always wanted. The Nazis of Europe have been rampant and overrun by these crazy people like Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, and today, I mean, the European continent is rife with Nazi leaders. The World Economic Forum, run by Klaus Schwab. Schwab is the son of a Nazi, and he is a Nazi. Any world leader who attends the World Economic Forum should instantly be executed for treason when he gets back to his own country. Of course, Great Britain are always there, because Great Britain is a Nazi country. Let's give it the name that it is, and this is where the Islamists, the extreme Islamists, actually they're all extremists, aren't they? This is where they mirror the most evil face of Nazism. It is a Nazi regime, but let's give it its real name. and correct something that needs correcting over and over again. Because the lunatics on the left, the wokists, the liberals of the world who love to destroy everything that means anything, they will constantly tell you that Nazism is the extreme right. And anyone who is against it is the extreme left. Well, that's completely untrue. That's a lie. Think about the word. It's a German word, Nazi. Actually, it's two words. Nazi. National Socialism. That's what Nazi means. National Socialism. When has socialism ever been anything except the extreme left, not the extreme right? But the left love to tell you that lie. It's the extreme right. Nazism is the extreme right. Fascism is the extreme right. They're not. These people, just like the wokists, the liberals, the people who are trying to run Europe, and the idiots who are destroying the United Kingdom, they are all Nazis, extreme leftists. Under any other name, Nazi or leftist, whatever you want to call them, it's communism. They are all communists. And communists don't build, they destroy. Communism is just like Islam. It's a wrecking ball. It doesn't build anything. It has never achieved anything. It has only ever destroyed everything. Nazism has caused more wars in the world than anything else, even more than religion. And it's nice to see that this war is bringing a kind of Nazism to an end in Iran. And I would love to see the same thing happen here in Europe, and especially in Great Britain. And what we have to remember is what we did with the Nazis at Nuremberg in 1946. We hanged them. We put them to death. And that is a trait that we must follow. Whenever we take our countries back and give them freedom again, freedom to think for themselves, to decide for themselves, to say freely what they think and believe, when they have that back, the people who tried to take those rights away must be hanged. If you want to be a Nazi, go right ahead and be one. But remember, there's a rope waiting for you at the end of the line. The Nazis were put to death at Nuremberg, and that is the lesson that we all need to learn, and the example that we all need to follow. Put these people to death. Let's not tolerate them anymore. Get rid of them, because all they want to do is wreck and ruin everybody else's life. Now, here in the Republic of Iran, so many people are celebrating, and I'll put the website link into the information on the bottom, where you can go to the website, my website, and you'll be able to read all of this rather than me just telling you about it, because at the moment I'm not sure about the technology yet, about how you can put it all onto the screen while I'm actually talking. Not that I particularly want to do that. I'd rather have you come to the website and read it for yourself. But yeah, it's where we are. So the Ayatollah Khomeini is dead. Dare we say, long live the new Tsar? We don't know yet. What I do hope is that now the United States have taken this action, and Israel have taken this action. They've taken this action jointly. I hope they will follow up by putting boots on the ground and ensuring that there is a settlement of a rule of law and constitutional and democratic human rights bestowed upon all of the people. And they need a military made up of the Iranian people and a police force made up of the Iranian people who have that freedom in their hearts to ensure that it survives and flourishes in the years to come. As to how they're going to achieve that, well, I've got my own ideas, but my ideas are no better than yours or anybody else's, so I'll keep them to myself for the time being. Maybe another time I'll give you my opinion on it. But for the time being, if you want to, down here, press the like button and subscribe. And again, look a little bit further down and you'll find the information which will give you the link to the website where you can read all about this and some lovely pictures and all sorts of things. And just to answer one small question, which has been on several comments that I've had in the past. People say they can hear a slight hint of music in the background when I'm making the videos. Yeah, I do have, it's very, very low. You can only just hear it. But I just like having that tiny little bit of background music there. And for those of you who don't know, it's actually country gospel music, which is my favourite. So, anyway, that's the end of my rant and my end of my video for now. Let's celebrate with the Iranian people. I hate to celebrate the death of anyone, but if we're going to celebrate the death of anyone at all, it's got to celebrate the death of evil, wicked people, and the Ayatollahs are evil and wicked. Good luck, and may God bless the Iranian people and lead them to the freedom that they've been seeking for 47 years. Thanks for being with us here at Freeline FM. I'm Israel Ben Heeman. Goodbye for now, and God bless you. Brothers and sisters, thank you for being with us here again at Freeline FM. Until next time, goodbye for now, and God bless you.